This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. Helping you find emotional, spiritual, and physical balance. What does your future hold? It's time to find out with Psychic Suzanna.
That is exactly right. You are right where you need to be. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. Now, please be aware you can always find us at psychicsuzanna.com or KFAB.com. Now, when you go to KFAB.com, you'll find all the latest news, weather, and sports. And this show will go up online on Tuesday, so you can be sure and rehear it, because this is going to be an interesting show. PsychicSuzanna.com, you get a free question. You can find out my schedule. Those are the two websites. You put them in the back of your mind, always know where they are. You know, the show is centered around you and your life, hoping to give you the answers you need to make your life better day by day, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Please join us on Facebook with Life with Psychic Suzanna. That gives you the inside knowledge of who's going to be on the show. And Susanna Stickney, that gives you where I'm going to be and what I'm going to do. And I try to give you one thought each day that might improve your life and improve mine. It's all about getting better day by day. Well, tonight's show is an interesting book. I must tell you, the book title caught my eye. The book is called Trust Your Life. And in this book, let me just read you the one line from it. Trust your life, forgive yourself, and go after your dreams. Now, this book was written by Noelle Sterne, and it applies practical spirituality to help you let go of your regrets, relabel your past, and reach your lifelong yearnings. I certainly want to welcome Noelle to the show. Welcome, Noelle.
Thank you very much, Susanna. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight.
Now, Noelle, as a coach, in this book, though, you help us figure out how to do these things. And one of the premises in your book is that there are no mistakes. I'm not sure I understand that. Tell me how that comes in my life.
Well, I know it may sound radical, but I fully believe this, that there are no mistakes. Even if it doesn't feel like it, your life experiences, whatever they may have been, prepared you perfectly for where you are now. The great jazz trumpeter Miles Davis said, "Do not fear mistakes. There are none." Now, coming from someone like that who probably did a few sour notes in his time.
Right, at least. At least.
But the idea is that no mistakes means that nothing was wasted in our experience. If we go back and think about all our different experiences, we learned from them, we grew from them, we may have gotten information from them that we use later. I have many examples in the book from my own life and other people's about what may have seemed random or silly or, of course, tragic. One usually does grow from tragedy. But the idea is that everything that we have experienced is for our growth and for our use.
I wanted to take you on task on that. Ready?
I'm sorry again?
I want to take you on task on that. Okay. Ready?
All right, go ahead.
Today in church, I said a couple of things that I probably shouldn't have said.
Uh-huh.
And I talked to someone probably like I shouldn't say. I really do believe that I'm in open channel to spirit. But all of us have times when we feel that we just misspeak. Are you saying that we really don't misspeak?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm saying that...
Darn. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you want absolution, huh?
Yes, I do. Tell me what happens when we misspeak or hurt someone that we really don't mean to hurt.
Well, just the fact that you said what you just said shows you have just learned. You've labeled it misspeak. You felt bad about it. You probably knew at the instant the words left your lips. And so you've already learned from it. And the best scenario would be next time you have an impulse to misspeak, you stop yourself beforehand.
Wow.
Or you couch it in a different way. Maybe whatever needs to be said, there may be another way of saying it that maybe doesn't hurt the person.
Well, in a lot of our communications, quite often we get hurt by somebody with a great intention.
Yeah.
And we take it so personally.
Yes.
And allow it to destroy our day.
Right.
When that was not the intention of the other person. How do we stop doing that? How do we, as you call it, reframe that so we don't allow allow those moments to disrupt us completely?
Yes. Well, for one thing, when we feel hurt, we are automatically saying that person in some way is out to get me, for example.
Right.
Or that person is criticizing me, whatever that negative judgment we are either almost subconsciously putting on it that allows us to be hurt. So from the standpoint, this is one standpoint, of reframing, we can say that person, this is a great one, Susanna, that person needed to say it that way. That person needed to do that. That takes away the personal to me idea.
So I put it on the other person.
Well, you realize that, as you said, maybe the person wasn't even intending to hurt you.
Right.
But that person needed to express it that way at that moment. Just like in reverse, you're saying, if the person that you were speaking to in church this morning, if that person
took offense.
Well, no, or if that person was employing this principle, that person would say, oh, Susanna really didn't mean it highly personally to me. She needed to say it that way at this moment because of whatever was going on with her. I'm going to take a break in a few minutes, and I'm going to let you think about this, but I have a lot of clients who come to me. Yeah.
And I'm very honored that clients will come and bring their children who are 13 and 14 and are being bullied. Okay?
Being bullied?
Yeah, being bullied. And so people are saying things to them.
You mean like at school?
Yeah, and are in life. If you're bullied by a coworker, I want you to come back when we come back from this break and help me to understand how I can reframe the bully next door in the office next door attacking me are the thoughts I think about that. We'll be right back with Noelle Sterne. She is the author of Trust Your Life. This is really a very exciting book that will teach you to forgive yourself and go after your dreams by learning how to handle the moment a little bit better. We'll be right back. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. You stay tuned. We're going to make you better in each moment we talk.
Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. She knew I was going to say that.
This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. You can always find us at psychicsusanna.com and KFAB.com. And Jim, you're playing that music just to make me feel good. I love you,
I know.
baby.
You like this guy.
Yes,
you like Sting.
I love that music. This show is, by the way, centered around you. We're getting you information to help you to understand how to handle life's lessons. And there's so many that come out of us. No matter how old you are, how young you are, we're always growing. We're always learning. And right now I have on the air with us Noelle Sterne. She wrote a book that it's called Trust Your Life and Forgive Yourself and Go After Your Dreams. Noelle, one of the things that I really want to ask you about again is if in the words and the thoughts, and if someone in my past has said something that has emotionally harmed me, how do I reframe that? How do I reframe and release and relabel the past?
Are you saying in relation to someone else having said something hurtful to you?
Yeah,
or?
the bully.
Oh, right.
The bullies in our life.
Yes. Well, I think of two different things. this is interesting, especially no coincidences, because I have a dissertation client who is working on a dissertation on workplace bullying right now.
Uh-huh.
Now, on a highly, highly practical, pragmatic level, I would recommend to you and listeners the site called Workplace Bullying Institute.
Really? Okay.
Yes. It's very easily accessible on the Internet, and I'm looking right now. We always are in front of our computers, right?
Right.
They have what they call a 3-step action plan, and it's on the highly practical level. Now, second, on a more mental, emotional, spiritual level, one of the metaphysical principles that I know that you're familiar with is the popularly known now law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
That is, like attract like vibrations, like energies, like thoughts attract like. So from a higher perspective, the victim is on a similar vibrational level to the bully. The bully will not bully someone who doesn't feel victimized in some way, isn't putting out those energies.
So are you saying that if someone next to me is, I believe that they don't like me, and
yeah,
so I'm putting out the energy as I come into the office or at school, this person doesn't like me, or there's something wrong with me, and that's pulling that thought process?
Well, it's not necessarily if there's something wrong with you, but just the fact that you verbalize this person doesn't like me, you're attracting that dislike, I would say.
Well, don't we have to recognize it, though?
Why? Why not just simply say, well, I don't need to be near that person. Of course, you may have to be physically near, but mentally I don't have to be near that person. The other part is more of a metaphysical remedy. I would say this. When a negative thought, whatever it is, comes in, and we feel victimized by it or threatened by it, let us replace that negative thought instantly with a positive thought. And here are some examples of that. The Indian greeting, namaste,
right,
is loosely translated as, I salute the Christ in you, or the Christ in me salutes the Christ in you.
Mm-hmm.
If we immediately, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like otherwise, substitute a thought like that towards that person, all kinds of miraculous things can happen. And one miraculous thing could be that the person just loses interest in you because you're not attracting that person's energies. You're not playing into that person's energies.
So you're saying that if I have a thought that I'm going to be bullied, I will be bullied?
Yes, I do believe that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And your body language, your expressions, how you're holding yourself, all are reflected in that. You know how I recall when I lived in New York City, there were these standard cautions about not walking on certain streets, you know.
Or not looking in the eyes of someone on the subway.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm telling you, I went all over the city, night, day, everywhere, never had a single incident in New York City whatsoever. And I attribute that to that I was not looking for, I was not expecting, I was walking briskly, sometimes I was jogging. Mm-hmm. I was in so-called control of myself.
Well, you do have one of the three principles being the outer reflects the inner.
Exactly. And we do not usually give ourselves credit for how powerful we really are using that principle. and we can use it for good, just like I suggested before. Now, I will say maybe some people may feel that my suggestions are facile. I've never experienced bullying. I know it can be terrifying, especially, for a 10-year-old kid, let's say, by a 13-year-old kid, and in certain neighborhoods, all kinds of things. But if that kid, the kid isn't too young, and the parent, if they can work on themselves in some of the ways that we've been suggesting, as well as the practical suggestions of how to respond, how to report, for example. That's what one of the things the Workplace Bullying Institute suggests, is to name it, is to, let's say in the case of an employment situation, to report it, especially so many women never do. And so I'm not saying not to do the practical, real-world things, but really, everything really does start with our mental, emotional, spiritual state.
Well, you also in your book, in Trust Your Life, you have a page of affirmations, and one of the affirmations you have is, I am guided to the right words, decisions, actions in the situation.
Exactly. And they can be highly practical. I'm not, people often ask that question, do I pray or do I act? Well, it's not an either or. When we learn to listen inside to our best guidance, we're guided to sometimes sit there and other times move our feet.
I love that affirmation. I am guided to the right words, decisions, actions in the situation. So we can use this in any situation we find ourselves in.
Yes, absolutely. And to me, Susanna, the important key is, and again, people say, well, how do I know that I'm guided? Whose voice am I hearing? That.
Right.
And it is such a legitimate question, but I have found that the more I meditate, the more I practice meditating, even though all my little chattering monkeys in my mind keep going.
Right.
And I keep pushing them away, the more I get clear, and the more when I ask even inside, the answer's there even before I finish the question. And when you are guided by that feeling of peace, of rightness, of an expansiveness, of a lightness, that's how I know. And many other people have said similar things.
Okay. We're going to need to take a little break, Noelle, and we'll be right back. This is Noelle. She wrote this book called Trust Your Life and Forgive Yourself and go after your dreams. All right. And we'll be right back with Noelle. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. Now, remember, you can always find us at PsychicSuzanna.com, where you'll hear this show, get a free question, get my schedule. KFAB.com is your one-stop place for weather, news, any action that is going to affect your life. We cover it on KFAB. You just go online. You can also hear the show. It'll be put up by Tuesday. This show, is centered around you, giving you answers to questions you have and some you don't know you have. By the way, Jim, how long do we have?
I'd say about 3 minutes.
Noelle, I'd like to keep you after the 8 o'clock hour, if I may.
I'll be glad to.
Okay, and one of the things that you have in here is the ageless principle, which I love, which means age is just a number, and you don't need it. But before we talk a little bit more, Noelle, one of the really fun things that I found in your book is your, recommendations about book. They stand out a lot for me. But this one was written by a retired U.S. Army and Vice President of National Electrical Manufacturers Association.
Right.
And really cool. He said, Richard Talley,
yes,
who's a retired colonel of the U.S. Army, said, I wish I had this book 30 years ago. I'd been successful in military service and the corporate world, but my life dream was to pursue a career in the motion picture industry.
Yes.
After reading Trust Your Life, I intend to take a film class at the nearby college.
Yes.
That was really cool. It is important to really go after your dream that you teach us in the book. Mm-hmm. But I think one of the things that I like about your book is one of the things you teach us is that where we are is where we need to be in the moment. And that's one of the affirmations I give some of my clients is because we're always thinking we should be somewhere else.
Yes.
We should be a different age. We should be a different color. We should be a different weight. We should be a different. It's just I should be taller.
Yeah.
Really, seriously, Noelle. And I love that you tell me about the ageless principle. Tell me
absolutely.
about it.
I saw something on the U.S. Census website. Of course, that's my leisure reading.
That's sad to hear, honey.
For the first time, they had statistics on the segment of the population over 90 years old.
Right.
So that means that there are enough people who are 90 who merit a pie chart.
Well, age is not the limit.
Right.
I have one of the things I say, how old would you be if there were no numbers?
Right.
Which is really hard to figure out. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Noelle. We've got a couple of minutes. End up this half an hour with some info about you. How do we find you?
Well, I have a website for the book that's it's a stationary website at this moment, and the full one is in process. It's called www.trustyourlifenow.com. Mm-hmm. And if someone puts my name in the search box, many articles will come up from writing publications, both hard copy and online,
all right.
and some spiritual sites. In fact, I would like to recommend an article that goes back to what you're just saying about that it's never too late. On the Unity Organization site homepage, there is an article called Put on Your Dancing Shoes, and it's a practical application of some of these principles from the book, that it is never too late. And just like Colonel Talley talked about taking a film class, I suggest that even though someone cannot be in the ballet corps at age 42, they can still do many things if they have a love of ballet.
We'll be right back, young lady. We're talking to Noelle Sterne, Ph.D. Trust your life and forgive yourself. Go after your dreams. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna, 1110 KFAB. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Yes, this is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. This is exactly where you need to be for all the information you need, for anything you need to know in life. We are having a little noise in the background because our artists came in. I will introduce them a little bit later. This is going to be a fun show. But we are going to be talking right now to Noelle Sterne. She wrote the book Trust Your Life and Forgive Yourself and Go After Your Dreams. You would know she's on if you were a friend of ours on Facebook, on Life with Psychic Suzanna, or Susanna Stickney. On Facebook, we let you know who's coming up. We also want you to know that you can always find us on the web 24/7. But you know what? After Noelle, we're going to get some beautiful music in here that I actually heard from the Unity here in Omaha, Noelle.
Oh, yes.
But before that, right after that, we want your calls at 1-402-558-1110, 1-800-543-1110. Okay? We'll take those right after Noelle. Noelle, one of the things that you've written in your book, Trust Your Life, Forgive Yourself, and Go After Your Dreams, is the story about forgiving yourself. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that, forgiveness of yourself. That sounds pretty interesting. Tell me about it. And how do you forgive yourself?
First of all, let me say that has to do with the kind of thing you were speaking about earlier, where people always want to change whatever they have at this moment. And underneath that is feeling maybe that they don't deserve, or they've made mistakes that are irretrievable or stupid, or they haven't taken advantage of certain opportunities and things have passed them by. Any kind of self-judgment is why we need to forgive ourselves. One of the ways I have found to forgive ourselves is to realize exactly what you said earlier, that we are where we need to be, and that, again, coming back to the principles we talked about earlier, that whatever we have done has not been a mistake, even though we tend to condemn ourselves. So the idea is to keep repeating these newer ideas, again, replacing the negatives with these newer ideas that say that I am, there's almost a cliche in spiritual circles, I am in the right place at the right time doing the right thing. And if we really believe that, in conjunction with our inner guidance, we will be led to do other things that we don't need to forgive ourselves for.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Why do you think it's so hard to forgive ourselves? Why do you think it's, like if my mother is passed, and if I said things horrible to her, why can't I forgive myself? What can I do? Because I know my mother on the other side thinks I'm pretty cute right now. So
I'm sure she does.
What?
I'm sure she's very pleased with you.
But why? What keeps me from letting go the pain of my mistakes?
Well, I believe that what keeps us is feeling that we don't deserve to let go, for one thing. Mm-hmm. And there's a reverse side to it also, not too pleasant to face, but we may feel very special holding our martyrdom, our guilt around us like a cloak. Maybe it sets us apart. Maybe we feel...
Oh, Noelle, you're not saying we love our drama, are you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, my God, Noelle, I wish I hadn't said that.
Why? I know. I prefaced it. I warned you.
It's just loving our drama. It does become our identity, our mistakes, doesn't it?
I will tell you, Wayne Dyer has a wonderful set of thoughts, and it's in a very small book. I'm sure it's repeated in other books. But one of the things is he says, give your past a new job description.
Okay, explain that.
Because, like, for example, I'm an incest survivor. I'm an alcoholic.
Right.
I'm a terrible person. I'm a lapsed Catholic, whatever it might be. So this, as you say, exactly, this is our identity. We hug it to us. Oh, look at me, I'm special. Nobody can redeem me.
Yeah.
So listen, remedies, always remedies, and they are difficult. I'm not saying that it's easy at all, because we have these habits of mind of self-condemnation, and unfortunately for many of us, they were given to us early by parents who didn't know any better, and just passed them along. Mm-hmm. But the more we can feed our minds with positive spiritual thoughts of whatever type appeals to us, there are so many different spiritual venues right now to choose from. You know, for example, Course in Miracles is rather highly intellectual. I love it because that's one side of me.
Right.
And yet there are many others. Unity is so accessible to everyone in terms of language and short takes, and there's so many others that we can pick and choose, and you don't have to swear allegiance to one or another either.
You know, Noelle, one of the things that I do each time, and when I do my appearances, I am so honored to do it, that a lot of times I will have people come and sit across from me, and I do slap their hands if they put themselves down, but I also ask them to take their pulse. And realize that their breath is the breath of God, and God doesn't make junk.
Right.
And as long as you have the breath, that you are part of the divine plan and part of His emissary on the earth. I find that's the saddest thing that I find, that people don't realize the honor of being above the ground and the honor of being alive.
We get so bogged down with all the
drama. The drama. Yeah. Noelle, you've been a treat. I really want to thank you. We've got to go on because we're going to be taking calls. We're going to be doing other things.
Yeah.
Noelle Sterne, you wrote the book, Trust Your Life. Forgive yourself and go after your dreams. It is a positive, wonderful book that helps us take step by step how to get it into the now without yesterday's garbage. Thank you for being on the show.
And thank you so much, Suzanna. It's been a real pleasure, and I'm so happy to share these thoughts. And as you say, we're all constantly learning.
That's it. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna. As we go out, we're going to have Chris strum a little bit on his guitar. We have Chris here. Chris and Dorothy here, Harmon, who are here. They're going to be talking to us in a little bit. But start strumming while I'm talking, Chris. Yeah. And Chris is going to be strumming in and out as we go through breaks. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. We are waiting for your calls. The number is 1-800-543-1110 or 558-1110. Now, everybody calls late, and then we can't get to you, so get on the phone. Call right now. The numbers are 558-1110 or 1-800-543-1110. We're coming back with Chris and Dorothy Harmon, who are with the KFAB wrote the song. Okay, we'll be right back. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna. We're taking your calls. 1-800-543-1110, 558-1110.